Good morning, everyone. I'm Angela Yu from Sofia University, Tokyo. While I'm here, I always have to add Tokyo so that you know that I'm not from this Sofia University. I am surprised that there are so many people who can make it to this morning session after all the drinking and dancing last night. So thank you very much. This is actually the first time I attend and present in this conference. So I've been learning a lot since the day before yesterday, and listening to all these really experts in digital science and data science and all that. On the subject makes me feel that maybe I shouldn't present because since I came from the 20th century and still trying to catch up with the 21st. But I'm the director of the journal called Monumenta Nipponica, which some of you may be familiar with, and some of you may have the journal in your library. This is my second time to serve as the director. The last time was during right after the big earthquake in 2011, and this time is during COVID. So I seem to go along with disasters. And they always call me the pinch hitter in catastrophe. So when things are falling apart, I came to prop it up. Monumenta is not falling apart. I mean other things, but I feel that, as you can see from the introductory page, I also serve as the dean of the faculty. So I don't have a great deal of free time to also take care of a great journal like this. But I feel that because Monumenta was started in 1938, way before I was born, and I feel that, during my term serving as both a scholar and a teacher in Japanese studies, I really feel a moral obligation to make sure that Monumenta will survive both for us and also for future scholars. And I don't know if I'm the right person to tie Monumenta over to the age of digital connectivity and AI, but I think since we're at the dawn of AI, if I may put it that way, and digital connectivity is also something that makes the journal a great deal more democratic instead of just being housed in prestigious libraries. I also feel that, despite my ignorance in the subject, I would very much like to, learn more from everyone and catch up. But today, what I would like to do is to share with you the tiny steps that we're taking in making Monumenta more digitally connected, and to talk about the values that we still hold despite, embracing the new age of connectivity and AI. So the content today is that I will introduce Monumenta a little bit, especially for those of you who are not so familiar with the journal, and to say a few things about Monumenta. We usually call it MN as a short form, and digital connectivity, and MN's vision in the digital age, as well as our editorial and publication tradition in the age of AI. So as I've already said, it's founded in 1938 by Catholic priests at Sofia University, Tokyo. For those of you who don't know, Sofia University is one of the earliest Catholic university founded in Japan. So we still maintain the Catholic tradition. And the founding fathers, quite literally, they're priests, so they're really founding fathers. They're from Europe, from Germany, and so they founded Monumenta Nipponica as one of the earliest journals in the English language, mainly to address really important scholarly issues, especially in the humanities in Japan, and has been acting as kind of a bridge for scholars in the Anglophone world and in Japanese to communicate and to exchange their findings and scholarship. Now it's published twice a year. I actually have the latest version with me. It is in this form. Some of you who are familiar with Monumenta may notice that last year, when I became the director, I decided to have a new cover just to make it new and to make it look a little bit maybe more contemporary and modern, to invite scholars who are not only in pre-modern Japanese studies, but also in modern and contemporary Japanese studies, to feel free to, send us your good stuff. So this actually just came out last Friday. I managed to get hold of a copy of it before I took the flight here. And so I've already said that it's one of the oldest peer-reviewed English journals. And well, in this day and age where most things are actually interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary, it's hard to say that, strictly speaking, it's about these disciplines. But overall, it has a more humanity-based readership from the beginning. So for the more sociology or politically based subjects, you would probably find a better outlet in other journals. So for us, we are focus more on pre-modern and modern history and literature, art history, or visual culture, you can call that, religion, thought, and society. And then we also renewed our translations of important Japanese literary and historical sources, so that because geographically we're based in Japan, so we are constantly in touch with, Japanese scholars, not just in Tokyo, but, Japanese scholars who are published in Japanese. And we feel that part of our mission is to translate some of these really wonderful scholarship into English, so that they will reach the Anglophone readership. So that's also one of our mission. And then we also typically have 15 to 20 book reviews in each issue. And this is our editorial board. We have kind of an editorial board that stays around for a number of years for continuity, but at the same time, we introduce sometimes new elements to refresh the journalists and also to refresh the angles of, scholarship in the journal, and also to give existing editorial board members a break, because it's really heavy duty work. So Monumenta Nipponica is what we call an affiliated research organization at Sofia University. And currently I'm serving as the director, and the chief editor is Edward Drott, Professor Edward Drott, and his field is religion. By the way, my field is modern Japanese literature. So when we create the editorial board, we also consider, the balance of expertise and the balance of like pre-modern and modern experts in the field. And then very happily, we have an associate editor from outside Sofia. This outside Sofia, meaning that we really want to bring in other institutions as part of this, what I feel a really long-running great journal. So very happily, Kokubunken, National Institute of Japanese Literature, allowed us to tap into the expertise of Professor Yamamoto Yoshitaka, who is really a great addition to our editorial board. And then our book review editor is Bruce Batten. He's the director of the Inter-University Center for Japanese Language Studies. So I feel that, with this balance in our editorial board, we feel very confident in, bringing the journal to this, to a new era. And then as for digital connectivity, since 2005, which is volume 60, MN is accessible online through Project Muse, meaning this latest issue, I think if you check, is already on Project Muse. And then all issues, except for those published in the past 5 years, are accessible through JSTOR in the most available subscription package. I mean, JSTOR has different, prices for different packages. So we're in the basic package, meaning the most affordable package. And then it is also, MN is indexed by Arts and Humanities Citation Index, Bibliography of Asian Studies, CNKI Scholar, ERIH+, Historical Abstracts, Index to the Study of Religions Online, and then MLA International Bibliography and Scopus. So that puts us among the top ranking journals is accessible in all these platforms. And we do that mainly, we do this actually quite early on. And in a sense, we were lucky because we did it early on. The hurdle wasn't so high. Now the hurdle is much higher. And I'm not sure if we try to make ourselves accessible on all these platforms right now, maybe it will be harder. And I don't know if we can make it, but we started this quite early because we feel that, we're entering the digital age, and it's great to have all these lined up on the bookshelf or in the library, but then to make it more accessible to especially students, graduate students, and scholars from all over the world, it is important for us to make ourselves available digitally. So that we did that quite early on. And then these are data that I'm really sorry, I'm really not a data person, but my office, knowing that I'm going to present here, felt that they should provide me with a lot of data so I can impress you. I don't know if I'm impressing you. The thing is, what you're saying is that all I want to say is that we have a fairly steady access through Project Muse. Is that, I know that because we get some income from Project Muse for having a significant number of access, so that I know. You would see that in the year 2020, all of a sudden it shoots up like a high-rise building, and that is because of COVID, and that is the year when Project Muse made itself free, meaning like it costs nothing for people to access. So all of a sudden we have a lot of access. So of course, it looks good, and it's good, I think. I mean, any scholars, students should be able to access these things. But at the same time, when it's for free, then you can access it whether you want it or not, or need it or not, or you can access it 10 times a day too. So it gives a kind of an inaccurate impression of how it's used or what it's used for. So however, despite that, 2020, around that time, you have this extremely large, tall access. But other than that, it remains pretty stable. And then this again shows you all of a sudden this spike in 2020. This is online views and PDF downloads by month. So I will not go through the the small print of the details of the graph, but you would notice that there are some ups and downs. And obviously the ups are when the journal came out. For instance, like if you check this week, probably it will be higher because a lot of people will be accessing it for the new articles. And then it comes down a little bit. So we're not overly nervous about this as long as we know that it reaches a fairly good number of scholars and they're using it for their research and their scholarship. And then the paid and free views by year is indicated here. As you can see, again, it's a fairly even kind of graph, except for the spike again in the COVID year. And the spike in the orange or brownish pole that indicates the free views by year. So you see that kind of spike during COVID. And then these are paid views by month. I think again, you see that dip all of a sudden somewhere down to zero. That's also the COVID year when, of course, if it's free, why would anyone pay for the viewing? So you have that kind of a phenomenon here. But what I'd like to say overall is I don't think minute detailed numbers interest any one of you here, but just to let you know and to reassure us on the editorial board that we're doing something, that hopefully is helpful and useful to the scholarly community and also accessible in a very easy way to scholars who need us. So we're quite happy about that. And then free views by month. And then you would also see that this is the JSTOR access data from 2018 and 2023. So again, it's a fairly even number with some ups and downs. And I think a lot of libraries, especially in the English-speaking advanced, may I use that word, countries, they tend to have a subscription to JSTOR. And many countries, actually many libraries still don't have access to JSTOR. I know that in Japan, even some of the most prestigious Japanese universities do not subscribe to JSTOR nor Project Muse. And so in that sense, it is something that I feel that we could improve in Japan, at least. I don't want to speak for other countries since I don't have the data. I feel that, I mean, even though maybe the main body of readership in most Japanese universities are not Anglophone readers, as long as we're trying to internationalize and globalize, we would need to address the needs of scholars from all over the world coming into Japan to study, and being able to access JSTOR and Project Muse for their research is extremely important. So my message, I mean, not from Monumenta, but my overall message to Japanese universities is that this is really something that is worth looking into for you to subscribe to JSTOR and Project Muse and to make these great journals available to your scholars, both locally and internationally. And then I think I will skip this because there's too much data. And then so our mission in the digital age is that, as I have already said, we want to make scholarship on Japanese studies written in English available to scholars all over the world. And we also want to make Japanese scholarship accessible to Anglophone readership through translation of original Japanese scholarship. So by doing that, this two-way endeavor, we're hoping that Japanese studies will not be limited only to Japan and will be able to reach the world. So what I'd like to say always is that it's great that Japanese produce all these great art and literature and scholarship and all the different subjects, but once it's produced, it does not belong to a single country anymore, and that's really the great part of it. The way, for instance, Shakespeare doesn't belong only to England, and Dostoevsky doesn't only belong to Russia, but scholarship work in Japan, once it's produced, we would like to make it available to Japanese study scholars and really readers, scholars all over the world. And that is part of our mission from the beginning, and so even more so in this digital age. And as for global digital access, this is sorry to be a little bit boastful. In the first quarter of 2024 alone, the online database recorded 45,500 hits from more than 120 countries and regions. So we're glad that our effort is yielding some good results, and that is easily available from all over the world. However, the map is for some reason it's tilted sideways, but please adjust your mind. But the most important thing to look at is that the deep blue areas, as you can see, like North America, Australia, the English-speaking countries, they have a lot of downloads and access. And then the lighter the color, the fewer the access. And the gray areas actually has zero or near zero access. And if you look at the map roughly, if I try to place Bulgaria, which is next to the Black Sea, it's still in the gray zone. So we would like to improve that and to make it accessible to more countries. And again, this is Project Muse Global Access, the same story. So there's still a lot more that needs to be done. And so we try to partnership with Japan Foundation, for instance, to reach out to regions with low or no access, such as right now the project is with, for instance, to make it accessible to Southeast Asia. And then through our collaboration with the Historiographical Institute, University of Tokyo, we hope to make our database even more accessible to scholars. And this is courtesy from Professor Horikawa at the University of Tokyo. He made a glossary to digitalize all the important significant words that came out in Monumenta and other significant journals. So you can search for the word, and then it came out in a very beautiful database. So that's part of the fruit of this really rewarding collaboration. And finally, our mission, I feel our value in the age of AI is that we want to combine high-tech We want to use high-tech and digital connectivity, but we still have what you call the old-fashioned or low-tech in production, so that the process of production is that from submission to editorial selection to double-blind review, editorial suggestions, revisions, copy editing, proofreading, layout, and publication. This is all done by humans still. So it's not like we're unable to move on to an AI team. We are quite actively still focusing on the human judgment and the human values in producing our journal. So this is the end of my talk. Thank you for listening, and thank you very much for your attention.
はい、発表ありがとうございました。時間あと5分ぐらい、いや、7分。
どう書く？
理応答に取りたいです。
ご清聴ありがとうございましたっていうじゃん。
理論さん。
よく聞くって書いてある。多分中国だと。
Thank you very much. So this is both a comment followed by a question, and they're on slightly different things, so sorry about that. The comment is basically thank you in one word, and it continues along the lines of, Monumenta Nipponica is an absolutely extraordinary publication, and I feel a great sense of gratitude to it, and I used especially heavily the translations in the journal because that was a sort of safe place to go for translations which were both loyal to the Japanese and were in good English, and to get those two is extraordinarily difficult, but Monumenta Nipponica does that. So it is just this really quite amazing resource which I have used very heavily over the years. So that's the comment. The question is, I'm just curious about the areas of coverage. So I certainly largely use the translation part of it, but I would be very interested to hear about how the coverage, the areas covered, have changed over the years, and whether there is pressure for you to cover other areas and this sort of aspect.
Yeah, thank you for your question. And first of all, thank you for the comment. We're very grateful to hear that. And I'm going to give you this copy that I have after the talk.
Bless you.
It's fresh out of the oven as of Friday. As for we're still doing really basic open submission. And then we go to conferences, like we spread out and go to different conferences and give out ball pens to people. I will give you a ball pen to everyone here, as long as they last, to really encourage people to send us their good stuff. But we always need to reassure people that they do need to send us stuff more on the humanity-based subjects, because the others they can send to, there are other great journals on, sociology and all that. So we still kind of like do our basic kind of like submission and review and all that. We're always open to new subjects and, relevant disciplines. And for some time, we give the impression that we're a pre-modern focused journal. And it is true, we're one of the few journals that's very, very friendly to pre-modern scholarship. But we also want to send a very, very strong message to everyone, especially with this new modern contemporary cover that I insisted, that we're really open to modern and contemporary stuff too. So yes, if you know of some, good stuff from yourself, your students, anyone that, you come in contact, please send us your submission and we will definitely review it. But we always have to warn people that because we're so human driven in this final stage of, looking at every word and sentence, it takes some time to get an article published. But I think most people who publish through Monumenta feel very, they're very respected because the way we respect their scholarship. And I'm sure at some point they feel very rewarded for publishing through us. It just might take longer than other journals. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
じゃあ、もう一個ぐらい質問どうでしょう。 誰も質問ないの ?OK。じゃあ、ここで
Thank you.
発表がいたし
So
ます。
I have 30 of these ball pens. Those of you who are here, I think I will give everyone one. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the presentation.